Good afternoon and welcome to the Gooner Ramble Arsenal Fan TV podcast. I'm your host Giles, and with me today we've got Akhil.
Hello.
Right, and we've got Judd.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you both. Coming off the back of a Wembleree triumph. Yes, indeed. 4-2 on penalties against the former holders. Wigan Athletic. And we're going to meet. Who were we going to meet? Was it? Did Hull City prevail?
City.
Yep.
5-3.
5-3. Wow, must have been another rip-roaring game. Well, we were down there yesterday, weren't we, Axe?
Indeed.
Judd, you watched it over in the States.
Yes, sir.
And I'll go to you first, Judd. I mean, what are your reflections now that you've calmed down? You've had...
I don't know if I've calmed down. It's still pretty excited, but it wasn't. Hey, we got through. It's not the way you see it playing out in your mind in the lead up, but we got the important goal to send it in extra time. We were able to hold on, and then I can't say I was confident, but I felt comfortable that if it went to penalties, I have a little bit more faith that our players are going to have a little bit more composure. So I wasn't too worried that we wouldn't get through from the penalties. And Fabianski, I mean, can't say enough about him. I mean, he had a great game other than that one little walkabout right towards the end of I think it was right at the end of regulation. I mean, he played out of his skin. I mean, he had a great game, 2 saves, really set the tone with that first save before we even had to step up and take our first penalty. I think that really added that little bit of confidence, for our penalty takers. And what was it, 4-2 on penalties, and we're through. Loved it.
Indeed. Man of the hour, wasn't he? He was the hero. He was really the hero of the day, wasn't he?
Sir.
There were others, but ultimately, he's the guy that put us through. Didn't you think? What was your reflections, Axe?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I've said it before. Fabianski's played well every time he's actually played, and there's an argument that we're sort of going to see him go this summer, but I think over the last year, if you ask people who's the actual better goalkeeper, Fabianski or Chesney, I think it's actually a tough call at the moment. I think Fabianski's done really well, and I think even yesterday, I mean, he didn't have much to do generally in the game, but even the penalty in the second half, he guessed right, and he was very close to it. I mean, he clearly does study players, and I think he does his homework. I think he's come out and said that. I think on penalties, obviously, he saved Thomas Muller's in Munich as well. So he's obviously, he's a good man to have in a penalty shootout. I think he was fantastic. I mean, generally, I think it was one of those games where I'm not sure performance was too important. I think it was just one of those that we just had to get through. And even same in the final, I'm not sure performance is too important. I think we just have to win this cup. And obviously, we're in the final now, so it sort of... our focus switches to the Premier League again, but we know we've got a good day to look forward to at Wembley again.
Indeed. A lot of people on Twitter I saw after were saying that, we were lucky to go through, or, we didn't play very well. But as you say, I don't think May the 12th, anybody will remember how the hell we got there. Was it 17th? Yeah, I don't think anyone will remember how the hell we got there as long as we got there. I tried not to analyse the performance too much yesterday, because if I did, I think I would have got depressed or a bit bittersweet, because there wasn't many great performances before we actually equalised. I don't know how it looked on TV, Judd, but from what I saw of the highlights, there wasn't that many highlights. So I got the impression on TV it wasn't very exciting until the goals came about. How did it seem?
I'd agree with that assessment. I mean, there were. It was weird. You compare it to the game today between Liverpool and Man City, where there's no more than 3-4 minutes and something's happening. There's some kind of controversy or a goal or a good chance. For the first half of our game yesterday, there was just I don't know. It was like just not a whole lot going on. It was kind of slow. I think part of it was both teams kind of wanted to, settle into the game a little bit. But, it's still, you're on your edge of your seat just because the excitement of the occasion. But yeah, it wasn't the most thrilling match that I've seen this year for sure. But at the end, we got through, and I'm just excited. And like you said, come the final, nobody's going to care how we got there. And then by the summer, if we've won, nobody's going to remember the intricacies of how we got the trophy. If we raise the cup, we raise the cup, and everybody's happy. So that's what we're after. How we get there doesn't really matter as long as we get there.
I think it was really important to win as well because we've been to the new Wembley twice, we've lost twice.
Yeah.
So if we had lost again, even if it was on penalties, mentally, I think that would have been massive for any semi-final final we ever have again. So I think winning was massive, and yeah, people focus on performances, but I mean I remember 2001 when we absolutely outplayed Liverpool, but then we lost.
And we lost. Yeah.
Now whoever remembers that we absolutely outplayed before. We had 3 off the line. We had a Honcho's handball, but
absolutely on the line. Yeah.
Fans, nobody remembers that. So stuff people who care about performances. We're in the final, and that's that.
Exactly. The only fans that seem to remember how poorly somebody played and one was Man United, because that was reminding me how we got lucky to beat them in 2005. But generally, who gives a shit? It's our name on the cup or the winner's name on the cup.
Exactly.
What do you think it will do for the lads' confidence now? Been taking a bit of a beating recently. Do you think it will galvanise the players for the final for the final run in before the cup final acts?
Well, it should. I mean, we saw it yesterday. I mean, after the final whistle, and I know, Roy Keane had his views on it, but to be honest, I'm not too bothered what Roy Keane thinks. But it was, the players were just relieved. They were celebrating. They were happy. They sort of did a walk around sort of our half of the pitch just to thank the fans. I mean, it was massive mentally. I mean, you could see the players. I mean, we sort of didn't play well, but at the same time, I don't think the players gave up. I think they all put a shift in. I mean, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain at the end, he was absolutely gone, and that's why he would not have taken the penalty. Even if we had to take 8 or 9, I think he would have been one of the last ones to take one because he was absolutely gone. But that was because of the shift he put in. I mean, even someone like Yaya Sanogo, who, I probably, didn't have the best game, but then he was influential for the goal, mind you. But generally, he didn't stop running. He gave it a go, and I mean, he hasn't played much. Kim Kallstrom, who's played 15 minutes of football for us and scored that penalty, and it was a good penalty as well. And I just think mentally the players did well. It would have been very easy at 1-0 down just to sort of feel sorry for ourselves and maybe give up a little bit, because I think against Everton we certainly looked like we gave up. So I think it was a massive game for all, and I think we probably should be proud of this, to be honest, and hopefully we'll kick on now and hopefully win every game to the end of the season. And if we do, I'm convinced that will give us 4th and the FA Cup, and I think that is progression.
Judd, what do you reckon it will do, confidence-wise?
It's certainly got to help. I mean, confidence couldn't have been too high going in the way that the team's been playing lately, but it's not going to be as good as if we would have gone out there and won 3-4-0. But we definitely got into the game. We had a few chances. The match could have easily ended in regulation yesterday with us winning. Ox hitting the bar. So I think just getting through there and just getting that monkey off our back, finally getting I think that was the first time we've won a match in nearly a month. It's got to help. It's got to help. And then I think, it's not going to be an easy match, but we're playing a mid-table team at home on Tuesday or Wednesday, well, midweek. So I think if we can get through that match, we've been playing well at home. If we get through that match, get another win, I think that we'll really get that ball rolling downhill, and we'll be able to carry it through the rest of the season. And I think, as Ax was saying, it's important that we do, finish strong, because, we're not in the best situation in the table right now, but if we do win our last, 5 matches, we can still finish 4th. And I don't think Everton's going to win all the rest of their matches. So, we can pull it back. And then, like Ax was saying, progress or not, that's debatable. But, winning the cup, getting that, 9-year trophy drought monkey off of our back is certainly going to help for the summer, build some confidence moving forward. I think we're finally starting to get that ball rolling in the right direction, though, for sure.
And also with sort of the players coming back, I mean, that will be a massive boost. I know having Aaron Ramsey back was certainly a boost. With Laurent Koscielny hopefully back on Tuesday, and then Mesut Ozil the following Saturday, we're slowly getting players back. So you sort of, even though I know I said that performance isn't too important when we play Hull, and it's all about winning, the likeliness is our performance should be slightly better with the return of those players. I think fixtures-wise, after Tuesday, we only play one game a week, so I think we're just in a much better position where now we can play our full-strength team. There's no real squad rotation, and I think all the big players will expect to play every minute, pretty much of every game. So I think it's certainly positive.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. Good stuff. All right, I'm going to bring in Amanda now. Good afternoon, Amanda.
Hi, everybody. How are you all?
Afternoon.
Amanda. Good. We've got Judd and Akhil. We're just talking about, the confidence it will give the boys going forward. We've got, 4 or 5 games left in the season. What do you reckon this result that we've achieved will give to the team?
Well, I said if we get through to the final that we'd get 4th, and if we didn't, we wouldn't, because I think the confidence would have been so low Tuesday night, and the crowd would have been vitriolic, wouldn't they? And, I mean, listen, the performance wasn't great. I'm sure you've discussed all that, but we're through and we're into the final, and it will give them a lift, definitely, yeah?
Indeed. Just Judge, you made some points about the second half. I mean, before we scored, we did hit the woodwork a couple of times, and I think leading up to the goal, the equaliser, it looked like we did sort of step up the pressure, because the first half we were pretty insipid. I thought we had runners, but we weren't really effectively using them. Were we, Axe?
No, I mean. I don't know who you were talking to there. You said both my names. After you, mate. After you.
Go ahead, Axe.
No,
after you, mate. I think the host has lost it personally, but go on.
But it's funny, the first half was kind of slow, and it didn't seem like there was going to be a whole lot going on, and it looked like it might have been another one of those days where we get a couple chances, don't capitalize, and then get knocked out, and then we start off the second half, I think it was, the 65th minute with the penalty, and then you just start thinking, oh, man, is it going to be another one of those? But then, the chances started coming and coming, and one of them finally, fell to the right person, and we were able to score. It was one of those weird days where you weren't sure if it was going to come, and then when it finally did, you had that moment of relief, and then you look back at the stats and you see all the shots that we've had, and you kind of think, well, wait a minute, how many? We really had that many? So, all in all, I'm still just on cloud 9. I just so excited to finally be into the final and have that chance to get that trophy trot off our back. So,
Amanda, how much agony were you in that second half of extra time? I mean, just try and impart to everybody that would be listening just what torment it was living through that part of your life.
Well, I always say to everybody, the best part of the game's before and after, and then we kick off, and it's just agony, isn't it? The second half of extra time, I don't know really. I was so numb by then that, everyone around's talking about penalties, and we're not at penalties yet. So, and then we're thinking, who's taking the penalties? And your mind wanders to think, well, not much of the team's got much confidence at the moment. Giles, I've been there, seen it, worn the T-shirt so many times with this team, this club, for years. So it's part and parcel. When Mertesacker scored, really any other team would have gone on to win 2 or 3-1. But no, not us. We have to do it the hard way. It's just, I don't know. I was still in shock walking out. I was still numb. I wasn't celebrating. I was just numb.
Relieved.
I'd been out since 11:30 in the morning. I think we left at what time did we leave the ground? 8 o'clock, 9? I don't even know what time it was.
Yeah, it was dark. It was getting dark. I think it was dark, yeah.
And people weren't singing. They were, but it wasn't like, we'd won the game, great, and now we're going to Wembley again. Listen, we all saw what we saw. We need a striker. It's as simple as that. And
yes,
I'm sure you've discussed all this, but, you know, my point was last night about Sanogo. I'm not saying he hasn't got potential, but he's not good enough to play for us in the next 5 or 6 games, that every game's a cup tie. Every game is a cup final, not a cup tie. So, I don't know where we go from here at the moment. I just think I would have played Poldy and Giroud up front. I'd have done the 4-4-2 with them, but I got slaughtered for saying that. So, I don't know. Listen, we're through. Now all the stress begins on trying to get a ticket.
True. Axe, you were trying to cheer up the crowd after when everybody was kind of pouring out the stadium all the way into the curry house. What was trying to explain to people what was going through your mind and body and soul and everything at Wembley yesterday?
Well, you know what? To be honest, in that sort of extra time, I don't really remember much about it. It's one of those weird moments, and probably most people will probably think I was just pissed, but it was sort of one of those things where it went quite fast, and it was just, I think afterwards we were just knackered. I mean, I felt like I had played,
Yeah.
And I remember seeing, I've talked about Chamberlain, but I remember seeing Chamberlain when he was sort of clapping us at the end, and he just looked like he couldn't walk, the poor lad. And that's how I felt. It just felt like it was mentally, I was absolutely exhausted. But I think by the time we got out, it was a little bit more like, yeah, we've actually done it. Leaving Wembley, it was one of those feelings where, I mean, I've been to Wembley twice and I've left thinking, fuck, again, thinking we're not going to be coming back. Whereas here, it's more like, we will be back. We'll see you in May. And I think that's a bit of a motivation. And it was just, it was one of those weird relief sort of moments. I think something we needed, but I think after such a mentally exhausting game like that, I think that's why people were a little bit quiet and just, everyone was obviously happy, there was smiles on everyone's faces, but it was just like, phew, thank God for that, because I think we could have imagined. I mean, we got a little bit of a glimpse of it when Lucas Podolski went off. There was a few people who I don't think agreed with the decision.
There was a lot of booing. There was a lot of booing for that decision, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I personally agreed with it. I didn't think Podolski really. I think he played okay. Yeah, I thought he played okay, but I mean,
up to that point, Sanogo wasn't really involved in anything either. So
no, he wasn't. But I think it was just the option of we can throw sort of balls forward. I mean, we always say that we haven't got a plan B, and I think yesterday we went 4-4-2. We had 2 sort of big lads up there where we can just sort of throw balls into, and one of them can hopefully hold it up, bring someone into play, and then that sort of, someone like Chamberlain, Cazorla, runners in. And I think, so for once we actually had a plan B, and I think people still probably weren't happy, but with the goal, I mean, Sanogo was massive in the goal. I mean,
yes.
the Kieran Gibbs header, which led to the corner, Yaya Sanogo actually got the header on, and that's what I mean by aim it to the big man, get the flick on. Kieran Gibbs was coming in. Obviously, that was saved, went for a corner, but then again, the ball came in, Sanogo controlled it, gave it to Chamberlain, who scuffed his shot, and Mertesacker put it in. So, I mean, keeping Sanogo on was justified. Forget how he was playing before, it was justified because he was involved in that goal. And that's just what I think. I think we sort of went for a plan B, and it worked. So, I don't really see what the big deal was, to be honest.
Yeah, but Axe, the problem was, I don't think anyone agreed with you, because I sat above Wenger. I was up a tier there. Everyone went ballistic when he pulled Poldy off, because for me, I'd have had Sanogo off. I wouldn't have even started him. Giroud would have started. So I'm sorry, darling, I have to disagree with you. I know I agree with you on lots, but I would have not pulled Poldy off. And I tell you, a lot of the time in the first half as well, he was screaming for the ball, and they weren't passing to him, and this is a lot you don't see on TV. Now, I know you 2 of you were there anyway, and you would have seen this, but, I think it was a bit unfair on him. I know he's been slaughtered for not really being there, but I would have definitely taken Sanogo off, definitely. I'd have played 4-4-2 with him. Giroud, Poldy.
I mean, that might have worked as well. In hindsight, it's a great thing. We don't know, but I just thought we're going for a sort of a plan B, and I think it was sort of justified. But, I mean, Podolski staying on, he could have got a chance and finished it because he's one of the best finishers we've got. So,
exactly.
It's one of those things where I think at the time people were upset, but I don't think anyone's going to give it a second thought now because we're through. So, what it is sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I thought I couldn't believe how flat we were in the first half. I remember getting up for half time and thinking, I mean, I know Wigan are the cup holders. They just beat Man City. We knew that they were going to have their tactics well drilled and whatnot. But I was looking, I was thinking, well, we've got Ramsey, we've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, we've got runners. So where's in those zip in our game? You know, I was thinking it must be second half. Surely we're going to come out and go for it in the second half. Second half comes about. They get a penalty, which was a foul on Monreal, if I remember correctly, which wasn't given. And then Mertesacker went and made a rash challenge, gave away the penalty. And I thought, oh my gosh, this can't be happening. And I remember James, who I was sitting next to, was just he was in bits. Like everybody was in bits. And then when we equalised, it was just absolutely pandemonium. You know, but we were right behind the goal. We were right behind the goal that we were attacking in the second half, and it was a mixture of relief, pandemonium, just an outpouring of emotion. You know, I was jumping on people's heads, people were jumping on my head. There was people's drinks going all over the place. You know, and there was a real kind of a feeling of like we're going to go forward, we're going to go ahead and we're going to win it. And then I think did Chamberlain hit the bar before or after we equalised? I can't remember.
After.
Yeah. We hit the post with that sort of dodgy goal.
And then I think Gibbs had a chance. It just went wide as well, didn't it? Or did the keeper save it or something? I think he had a header or something like that.
Keeper saved it.
Yeah,
that was the build up to the goal.
Was that the build up to the goal? Right, okay.
Actually, yeah.
The last 10 minutes.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm out of it. I'm absolutely out of it. I'm still out of it. Do you know what I mean? Going into extra time, like you said, Ax, I can't remember that much of it, but I remember Sonogo had it. Was that the second half or extra time where Sonogo had it saved?
Yeah, that was when
he spun and shot and they saved it. And it was just crazy. And then as the guy blew for the full time and extra time, I just thought, you know what, whatever will be now, whatever will be, and I'm just gonna accept whatever outcome, you know, comes about. We, you know, can't do anything about penalties. And James, who looks like Fabianski, it's a spitting image of Fabianski, sat down. I actually felt sorry for him because he was like shaking his head. He had his head in his hands. And it didn't look like he could take it anymore. And I was just resigned. I was like, well, yeah, you know, it's the fate of the gods. And Fabianski, I read a newspaper article last night, and he said it was mostly instinct that led him to save those first two penalties. You know, the guys we've always known him to be an incredible shot stopper. Even from his days when we used to call him Flappy Hansky, he was always a good shot stopper. But you know, the way the way he leapt and saved the two goals compared to Scott Carson. I don't know if you guys noticed Scott Carson was jumping around from one goalpost to the other goalpost trying to put our players up. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
You know,
unconventional.
I mean, you're an ex-goalkeeper, Judd, so, you know, I mean, whatever
you can do to kind of distract the penalty taker, you know, you're gonna do it, you know.
It clearly works as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't always work, but, you know, if you can do anything.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting point, because in the final now, who do you play? Fabianski or Chesney? I mean,
you got to go with Fabianski.
Yeah. But then, you know, I see the point, but I just think that if he's leaving, why not give the goalkeeper, who we think is going to be number one for the next 15 years, a bit of experience in a big final?
You ride the horse that got you there.
Yeah, you ride the horse.
I mean, Chesney, I think Bayern Munich, massive game, sort of got sent off. His first World Cup, was it Euro, whatever it was,
Championships got sent off.
Yeah, he made a massive mistake in the Carling Cup final. Yeah. I think the boy doesn't. I think he's done well this year, but he does need the experience. But as you know, Fabianski, you'd be. I think Wojciech Szczesny would probably scare me in the final more than Fabianski. So it's a tough call.
Absolutely, and the thing is, what I noticed as well is the praise that the players give him. You know, they're publicly coming out and praising Fabianski for what he's been doing. Like I think Oxlade-Chamberlain said, you know, Szczesny's a great goalkeeper, but Fabianski, when he doesn't complain, is a true professional, comes out whenever he's called upon and gives his 100%. And you can't ask for any more than that. And I think it would be such a shame. I mean, obviously, it's for the greater good. Whichever goalkeeper goes in the cup final, all we need is to win. But it would be such a shame for him that he's got us there, like you said, Judd, and, you know, he gets dropped. I think the bigger question for me is, who do you play up front? Is it going to be Sonogo?
No.
Or Giroud?
Yeah. Can I just say something, right?
Go on.
Maybe I'm living on another planet, but isn't a striker supposed to put the ball in the net? Okay, so he doesn't, right? And yes, he's raw, and yes, he's got a bit of talent, and yes, he holds the ball up, and yes, he does whatever he does. He don't score. Has he scored for us yet?
No.
No. So we're in a cup final, and as much as Giroud, with the dramatics and the flappy hands and everything else, he can put the ball in the net. He's more than capable of putting the ball in the net against Hull. Yeah. Well, he was the first 5-6 months, wasn't he? So,
yes.
And we possibly will have Jack, Ozil. I'm assuming Ramsey. Yeah. If he doesn't get. I mean, he played him for near on 2 hours yesterday. The boy has been back a week, but well, anyway, we'll see. So for me, I don't even see there's a discussion. We were walking up when we were on the escalator yesterday, and everyone found out the team. I could hear people going, Sanogo, and I went, no, he must be on the bench. And then, no, he's playing. I went, okay. Right, so who's going to actually score a goal? So, and I'm not being... Exactly, and that's, became the hero in the end, didn't he? So I don't think there's any debate, personally. If Giroud's fit, it's got to be Giroud. That's it. Yeah. But this goalkeeping thing is a little bit strange, isn't it? Because for sentimental reasons, you should play Fab and say goodbye. But we want to win the cup final. He has to go on the best goalkeeper. To be fair, there's not much between them, I don't think.
I don't think there ever was.
No, and I think with Arsenal it's typical, isn't it? We have a goalkeeper that no one wants and called Flappy Handski for years. We want to get rid of him. Now he's turned out to be a great goalkeeper. We want to keep him. He's going. Only Arsenal, isn't it? It would only be us that this would happen to, that we have 2 decent goalkeepers. So I think, to be fair, he should play Fabianski, and he is great at shot stopping, and he is great at penalties, as we saw. And that could go to that at the final.
I think he's eradicated the stuff that people used to lambast him for, which was like, he seems to be much more confident in his penalty area. He commands his penalty area a lot better now. He's no nonsense when he gets the ball to feet. He doesn't muck about. He doesn't try and do a Cruyff turn like what Szczesny's, liable to do. And coming out for shots, for crosses, he just seems to be a lot more dominant. Doesn't he, Judd? Remember before, back in the days?
Yeah.
I think a big part of it.
A big part of it is just the maturity, and I think what really hurt him was that when he was young and he was competing for a spot with Szczesny, he was the one that made the errors, and then when Szczesny had his opportunity, he came in, and he had a couple little lapses here and there, but they weren't as bad or as glaring as some of the things that Fabianski did. So he earned the right to have that spot, so. It's just unfortunate, and he's probably going to go on and have a good career elsewhere. And that's the thing with keepers. You can't really have 2 at a club. I mean, if one's capable of starting, he's going to go somewhere that he can start. So, I mean, I hope we can keep him around, but I mean, being realistic, there's not a whole lot of reason for him to stay, honestly, and it's better for his career for him to leave. So.
If we think back to, I think it was 2002, I think Richard Wright played most of the rounds, and I think he even played the semi-final against Borough, if I'm not mistaken. But I think David Seaman came back to play the final. So it's an interesting one. You think 2006, Flamini played left back pretty much the whole campaign. That included Madrid, Juventus, Villarreal. But I think Ashley Cole came back and played in the final. But then you think 2005. Philip Senderos played at centre-back for most of the last couple of months. Sol Campbell was fit, but Wenger went Senderos. So I think it's one of those things we just don't know what he's going to do because he's gone either way. But, I think maybe the next 4 games could be decisive as well because if Project Chesney, obviously you'd expect him to play on Tuesday, and if he comes back, but, has an absolute 4 massive stormers with 4 clean sheets or something like that, then you would think he might struggle not to play him. But if he doesn't maybe have 4 good games, then it's a decision. But I suppose it's a good decision in a way, isn't it? It's good to have 2 keepers that are competing.
Yeah,
it's a bit late, but it's good.
Indeed. And I think also, apart from anything else, one of the reasons why Cheney got the nod ahead of him for so long is his confidence. The guy borders on arrogant, doesn't he? Really?
Yeah.
It's like, even when he makes a mistake, it's somebody else's mistake. Well, I think we were saying that last night, weren't we, Ax? Like,
yeah,
make a mistake.
That's the thing. You expect Chelsea to do a little bit of a back heel or a Cruyff turn in the area, but if it's Fabianski, you think he'll just absolutely pollute it into Rose Ed. So it's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so let's move on to unless anybody else wants to cover anything more about. First of all, let's talk about the ticket situation going into the final, because I've noticed on Twitter quite a lot today. People are deep in discussion about who's going to be able to get tickets for the final. Can Ax, I'll ask Ax first and Amanda, explain how this ticket allocation might work for the FA Cup final, Ax?
I think it'll be pretty similar to the semi-final, really. Sort of people with away credits will probably get priority. Obviously, we expect about 25,000 or something like that for the final. You'd expect Hull to take sort of their allocations. I don't think there's much chance of their tickets coming to us like Wigan. So I think it will be done on away credits. I think there's about, from what I've heard, there's about 7,000 season ticket holders that have more than 3 credits. So that's, you would expect 7,000 there. And then there's, I think, 1,000 away scheme members. That's 8,000. And then I think the rest will just come down to maybe +1, +2. And if there's any going to 0, it could be just sort of a ballot sort of situation. And, whether that's right or wrong, we can probably debate all day. You're always going to get different views. And I think I don't like to get too involved. I think I can understand it from all points of view. If you've got someone who's maybe just been going 2 or 3 years but goes home and away every season, but then you've got someone who's been going to all the home games for 40 years, away someone who's been going less but goes every game will probably get priority. And is that right or wrong? I don't know. So it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because, everyone wants to go to a cup final, and it's just, the club, I think they're in a real no-win situation, because there's always going to be a selection of sort of fans that are going to be upset.
Mm-hmm. Amanda, you're in that situation, aren't you? Whereas, you've been going for nigh on 40 years.
Yeah.
Go on.
I'm beyond gutted.
It's about 70, isn't it?
Whatever. I feel like 70 today. I think it's wrong, Ax, because I've been to 6 aways this year, but not on my season ticket. There we go. So I won't. I'm a normal season ticket holder that goes to every single home game at Highbury in the Emirates, and yet someone could have joined 2 years ago, gone to an away game 3-4 times a year, and will get a ticket. So, of course, I come from the other angle. What is the point of the loyalty of having a season ticket and paying all that money up front? But, we're going to have to go into a ballot. I'm just gutted, because I have been to the away games and I would have got a ticket. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, because we knew at Highbury, I have never missed a final, ever. I was even in the Stade de France. So, I've never missed a final, never had a problem getting a ticket. This is it now. I was stressed for the semi. It's not going to be great. I've just got hope. But I have to tell you now, boys, whatever it takes, I'll be there. I don't care. Whatever it takes, I will beg, borrow, steal, whatever happens. I can't miss the final. So it's not fair. But again, as Zach says, what is the club to do? How can they do it? I just think for someone, for instance, you look at the Chelsea game this year, when the wind and the rain was on, people couldn't get there because of the trains. I was there. So, I got there, I purposely went, half the ground was empty, so I'm not being repaid any loyalty by going and putting my bum on my seat every single home game. And as Ax knows, I do go to some aways, but not on my ticket, as I said. So, really don't know what to say, Giles. I really don't know, because it's fantastic we're there, but when the club announce, I suppose next week, I think they'll go like the semi, as Ax said. I think it'll go this away scheme, this scheme, that scheme, credits won. I'm going to. So, I don't know.
It's tough, because I think, it's like the Arsenal Supporters Trust, obviously being a member, and I know they've been sort of campaigning for a home credit.
I know.
Sort of, so I think that would be good as well. So I think people that have been to every home game for however long should get something, because we see it all the time. People have season tickets and then just sort of sell it on, and probably put it on exchange and etc. And people that go every week, there's nobody can tell the difference, sort of, as in the club can't tell the difference. So I think it is a tough one. I think what doesn't help is, as much as I love Twitter and everything, I think it's very easy for you to just buy a ticket if you've got the credits and then sell it on, because there'll always be people selling it on. So I think people just will keep building their credits. So that I can sort of see that. I think that is a little bit unfair and stuff. If I think of it from a personal point of view, when I started going to away games, I had 0 credits. I went to Wigan away on a Wednesday night. I went to Newcastle on a Tuesday night. I went to Hull. I went to all these places, and not very nice places, on weeknights, on Sundays, TV games, and people, where there was tickets. And then I built up my credits. I started on 0, and, now I've sort of got quite a few. But that's the way I sort of started it, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who have done that as well.
Okay, but why is that priority though? Why is that priority? Just because someone travels to Wigan on a Wednesday night, I don't get this. I've paid out my season ticket I'm going to have to pay it in June this year for the whole year.
Yeah.
So why is that? What does that make you more? Not you. I'm talking about a person who does that, because I know people that just got away season tickets and they're going to get priority.
Yeah.
So I don't think the club are rewarding, but you know what? How many season ticket holders are there at Arsenal now?
I believe about 20.
That's about 40, isn't it? I think.
Is it? I thought it was going to be 25.
It's got to be nearer the 35, 40 mark, isn't it? So they can't do it anyway. The FA don't give them enough tickets. I agree with Ax's first thing when he said they can't win. They can't win. They've not got enough tickets to give loyalty to the season ticket holders anyway that want to go. So,
by the way, I wasn't saying that, people who have still built up credit should get priority. I was just saying that is the way a lot of people have built up their credits. I'm not saying it. People just haven't started to go to Man United away, Man City away, Chelsea, Tottenham away. They've probably been to the Wigans and the places that people maybe don't want to go to.
Someone told me I had to do that, and I didn't realise that.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a tough one, isn't it? We're living in a financial climate where people, money is tight. To be honest, when I was doing that, I had no real other expenses, and I'm sort of saving up to get married now, so I can see my credits dropping down a fair bit over the next 5 years. So it's one of those things, isn't it? It's just there's no real fair way of deciding who gets to go. And I agree. I know people that just have an away scheme. We're on the old travel club, have an away scheme, and don't go to any home games, and they'll obviously get priority. So is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know, but I can see everyone's point of view. It's such a tough one.
There's no easy way around it. And just mentioning that you guys were talking about the quiz, I saw a tweet from Tim Payton earlier, and he said 25,000 tickets given equals, you should use the data to select 25,000 fans who've been to the most Arsenal games. Well, if they're using their credits to sell on their tickets, it's not going to be a true capture of data.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens. That's what I'm trying to say. That people do buy tickets, and you sort of see them tweeting the day after the tickets have gone on sale that 2 spares to Hull away, or wherever it is. And you sort of think that, well, surely when they bought the tickets, they probably knew they can't go. But that's the thing, though, that people are doing that because they're thinking, if I don't do that, I'm going to then lose all my credits and won't be able to go, whenever they want to go. And it's so hard, isn't it? It's just
it's very calculated. It's a lottery then, is it? Like it was yesterday for yesterday's tickets. It's going to be another lottery for the Women's Cup final. Any idea of how much these tickets will cost, guys?
Well, they're normally something like, it was cheaper yesterday. They normally start at the 40, 50s. And go to the 90s, if I remember correctly. But remember, we haven't been in the final for years.
Yes.
I don't know what their prices are. All I know is every year the same debate comes out whether you're in it or not. That both clubs never get enough tickets. And it's not like yesterday, Giles, because 3/4 of that stadium was us. And there wasn't that many Wigan. There was loads of seats around me because I was near the Wigan.
I noticed that a lot of Wigan seats were empty as well.
So I'm hoping that Hull bring down 15 and send back 10,000. So you never know. And also I found out, I think it's a 5 o'clock kickoff, which isn't great as well. So Hull's not round the corner, is it? So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it won't be. I think it'll be exactly the same as the semi, except when it comes to coming on to the gold members, which I am. It'll be a ballot, as Axe said. We'll just have to wait and see.
That prices, I think last year, the prices, I remember Man City and Wigan fans obviously having great debates about the pricing. I think it was like 45, 65, and then it was like 80, and I think the most expensive was about 100 or something like that, or maybe just over 100, I can't remember. So I expect it to be something similar, similar this year. But
okay, cool. All right. So this debate's going to rumble on and rumble on. Hopefully, we'll see some light at the end of that tunnel. Let's move on to Tuesday. We've got West Ham United at home. They've got nothing to play for, have they? We're fifth now, a point behind, or is it 2 points or 1 point behind Everton? I don't know. I haven't watched any football since yesterday when I left the stadium. Everton are in the driving seat. What do you expect? West Ham haven't had a get. Well, this is our weekend game on Tuesday, so West Ham will be a bit fresher. I'm going to start with you, Judd. Do you think the team will be sufficiently revitalised? Do you think there'll be a lot of red zone players going to Tuesday's games? Do you think we'll go there on our adrenaline? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'd imagine we'd go out there with a full strength side. We kind of we were bringing a couple people back from injury and giving Giroud a break yesterday. Oddly, so I think we'll have a pretty fresh full squad for Tuesday. And like you said, West Ham's firmly locked in mid-table. They're, probably out of the relegation zone. I can't imagine any way that they drop, that far back in 5 matches. And there's no way that they're mathematically eliminated from getting in any kind of European placement. So, I mean, like you said, there's really nothing for them to do. We've got to treat it like a cup final, so there's no reason to suspect that we're not going to go out there all guns blazing. But that being said, you never know. I mean, we've come out pretty slow in some pretty big games already this year. But, my anticipation is, a nearly full strength squad with, the injured players that are out, obviously not, withstanding, but I'm hoping for a nice 2-3-0 win, build that confidence, get the ball rolling, and then continue on, finish the season strong. It would be nice to have the fourth place spot locked down before the final, and then cap it all off with the FA Cup.
Cool, Amanda. We could do playing in Newcastle on Tuesday, couldn't we?
It's going to be tough, isn't it? I mean, what team's he going to put out? They're all knackered. They played hours yesterday. I don't know who he's going to. I don't know what he's going to do. Yeah, Giroud.
Well, Flamini should be back. Is he suspended?
No, 2 matches.
I thought it was 2. Yeah, I actually thought it was 1 at the beginning. Why is it 2?
Because he's got 10 yellow cards in the first 5 for 1 match, and then
God, we could have done with him, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could have.
We've got Kallstrom.
Yeah, Kallstrom.
I don't know. I think he's due. I think he's ready to step in, don't you? If we need it.
You know what? I'm just hoping we don't. I mean, we need Ramsey,
Well, the way he went off yesterday, I watched him signalling. I mean, he was signalling like furiously.
Oh,
Ramsey,
I didn't see
was signaling furiously. Yeah, he was signaling. As soon as he got the injury, he was signaling furiously to take him off.
What injury?
Well, Ramsey come off because he was injured, wasn't he?
He was knackered.
Yes, he wasn't.
No, mate. No. You've got to watch the game. He was. Me and James and Bav. Ask any of them guys. We were watching him. He was signalling furiously to the bench. Take me off. Like he'd done something.
Well, hold on. When he went to the bench, he didn't go to the tunnel. He went to the bench. Yeah. He went to the seats. If he was injured, he would have gone down the tunnel. Because I watched that.
And he was very keen to join Santi Cazorla in that selfie that he took of himself. So you see.
I'll tell you what. Watch the game. I don't know if the camera's actually pan on him, but he was signalling furiously, and
was that because he was pretty tired? I mean, he had played.
I don't think it was that. It could have been simply cramp. It could have been cramp. It could have been cramp because, but then Oxlade-Chamberlain. Well, I suppose Oxlade-Chamberlain's had a lot more games than him, so maybe that's what he just wanted to protect himself. But I got worried. I was very, very worried the way he, like, as soon as he, when he did that signal, they throw their hands, the fingers furiously. I was like, oh gosh, what's going on? Like,
There's nothing in the press conference about it, so I think a journo would have asked if there was, but you meant right.
Well, let's hope.
But my point is, I don't think he'll play him on Tuesday because I don't think he can. You know, he's been back, 5 days? And I only thought he would have come on in the 60th, 70th minute yesterday. But he had no choice today. Is Rosicky injured? Is that why he wasn't on the bench?
Yeah.
Right, that's great.
Akpom
was running up and down. I wouldn't mind him on the pitch on Tuesday night. Kallstrom, maybe, yeah.
Kallstrom has to come in.
Arteta's got to play, so... Cazorla, it's not going to be much difference, is there? How far's Koscielny off?
A couple of weeks, maybe.
No, he's not. He should be. Wenger said he should be back by Tuesday, hopefully. So.
Well, maybe you'll be on the bench then.
He might start.
I thought he'd be back for Saturday.
That's Ozil Saturday, Koscielny's Tuesday. Rosicky could come in. Gibbs, you would think, would start. Serge Gnabry may get a game. Giroud's obviously you'd expect to start. There's a few options. I think there's a few players. Santi Cazorla you would think would be absolutely knackered, but probably has no choice but to play.
How bad was he yesterday, Axe? Seriously?
It wasn't great, to be honest.
Thank God he's got a great penalty. That's all I can say.
Yeah. But okay. So, Axe, let me go on to you then. Tuesday, we're going to get a result. Are we?
I hope so.
I think. Do you think Everton's win on over at Sunderland will have a bearing, will galvanise us, will give the boys even more impetus to go out there and get a result?
I think it's one of those where we've been in this situation for the last few years fighting for fourth, and I think Wenger will be focusing on if we win our 5 games, we'll probably get fourth, because for Everton to win at Southampton, for Everton to beat Man City, to Everton to beat Man United, that would be a massive, that's tough. And to be fair, if they do that, they probably deserve fourth. So I think it's just a matter of we win our games, and I think we will be fourth. I think that will be the sort of focus. I think it's a little bit of get through Tuesday a bit, because as we've sort of said, we are going to be pretty knackered, but I think this game will give us a bit of confidence. I mean, every player is now, you'd expect, with a few of the players coming back, every player's probably thinking that, all right, there's a cup final now. That's the motivation. We're going to Wembley. There's a few of the players who aren't guaranteed spots as well at Wembley, with Ozil coming in, there's someone who's going to miss out, Rosicky coming in, there's someone who's going to miss out. So I think they'll hopefully, the midfield especially, will all be focused. Wilshere obviously will want to play as well if he's back. So I think the confidence will be slightly higher, and I just think we have to win our games.
Okay. I'm just looking at the fixture list, and we've got a few teams in the relegation battle, haven't we? Yeah,
but that's a good thing, because that means they've got to come out and play and not defend. I don't think it's a bad thing.
My point is, hopefully we're at the races, because it looks like 5 easy, or we expect to win the 5 games. No, but people are saying, we've got to win that. If we win our 5 games, we're going to be fourth. Well, look at the team. West Brom, they've been unlucky two games in a row to draw a game. Norwich looked half decent yesterday. Hull City, who knows? I mean, not Hull City. Who we got? Who else we got? We got
Hull, Newcastle.
Oh, that's it. Oh, yeah, we got Hull, haven't we? Yeah, on a Monday. Wet Monday up there.
No, Sunday, Hull.
Sunday, sorry.
Monday.
Sunday. Easter Sunday.
Shall I tell you the fixtures?
Giles out.
I think it's his age, isn't it? It's catching up with him all
I'm shattered. I'm still shattered.
Yeah, we've got Hull, and then I think we've got Newcastle the Monday week after. I think then it goes, does it go West Brom, Norwich, and then the cup final, I think. Is there one in between all that? Is that it? Is it 5 games?
That's it.
Right, so yes, and I understand what you're saying on paper, but this is Arsenal. On paper, Wigan, seriously. So I do believe that Everton will probably get a result against United. I think City could be a draw. We have to win every game.
And didn't Southampton lose at home to somebody the other day?
Yeah. I would say Everton's goal difference is slightly better than ours as well. So they're 2 points clear.
And Southampton, they're kind of going off the boil now, Southampton. They've got nothing to play for. They might just coast to the end of the season.
We could play Norwich on the last day and they could be down already, so they may have nothing to play for as well.
I don't think they'll be down by then. They're still out of the relegation.
They've got United, Liverpool.
They're playing Liverpool next Saturday.
Yeah, they've got tough games, so it could be.
Well, let's hope they're down, because if they're not down, and we've got to go over to Carrow Road and Delia Smith's giving it, let's be having it,
Maybe I'll get on the mic opposite her. I feel like doing that at the Emirates sometimes.
I mean, I just don't. I mean, people keep saying it's 5 easy, walk in the park, not walk in the park, but we're going to win. We've got an easier run in. I don't know. Football don't work like that, does it? It don't work like 5.
Anyway.
We've got. So let's hope that the boys don't take their eye off the ball and start thinking about Wembley Cup finals and that. I want us to go out there and do the bloody business. You know what I mean? All right. Let's wrap it up now. But before we go, just have a word on news that come through last night, wasn't it, about Bob Wilson fighting prostate cancer? Sad news. Hopefully, I mean, you've got Pat Rice, who's also has he come out of it now? Has he won his battle or something like that? I don't know. Pat Rice recently was battling cancer. Now we've got Big Bob Wilson. I want to go around the table and ask everyone your thoughts and feelings. I'll start with you, Judd.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible news, but, just can't really do anything but, give them your best wishes and, hope for the best. I don't even know what to say. There's one of those tough situations where you're just gutted and not a whole lot else you can do, Wish them the best.
Indeed. Axe?
Yeah, exactly what Judd said already. There's not much you can really say. Just thoughts are with him and his family. And, he's one of the nicest blokes you'll ever meet. I mean, he does so much around Arsenal and around his Willow Foundation. And, he really is a top man. And it's just, you just hope he recovers. I think he was at the game yesterday. I read in one of the newspapers. So, I'm sure he'll fight. He's fought a lot of hard battles in his life on and off the field, obviously with sort of his daughter and stuff, so good luck to him. I'm sure we'll see him back soon.
Mandy, you're the only one that would have seen him play in the flesh amongst us.
I'm not that old, am I? I don't think I did see him play, actually. Did I? I don't think I did. Shut up. My dad would have seen him play. I think I've met him many, many years ago at Highbury. You know what I think will be a nice gesture? If maybe him and Pat Rice led the team out at the final or be involved in the lineup or something, because you're never going to meet two Mr. Arsenals as much as Pat Rice and Bob Wilson, are you?
Yeah.
And, of course, our thoughts are with him and the family and, he's got thousands and thousands and thousands of Gooners wishing him luck and all the best through it. I'm sure, just be nice if they had some effect at the cup final. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I'll just second, third and fourth what everyone said. Hopefully he battles through it. He's definitely one of those Mr. Arsenal guys, isn't he? Loved by everybody. Let's wrap it up about now. I'm still shattered. I'm still shaking.
Yeah, we know, mate.
Voices.
We know. We talking absolute bollocks for the last hour.
Not as much as you were in the curry house, though, Max. I must say.
I'm sorry. We didn't get to the cup finals. I'm sorry for talking bollocks.
I have to say, Axe, you need to have some respect for your host. If I spoke to Kate like this on my podcast, she'd give me what for. Never dream.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. All he cared about was his comments in the matchday program. I don't know if you saw the matchday program, Amanda, but Akhil was showing anybody that cared or didn't care about his comments in the matchday program.
No, in the Wembley program?
Yeah.
Oh, how funny! I was on Wembley TV, so that was quite cool. But no, Axe, show some respect now. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't normally stick up for Giles, but come on.
No, it's been a great. I bought him a few drinks after the game. I actually got him a ticket, so the guy can. He's lucky he's got that.
Lucky he's got you.
The abuse is nothing. And he paid me like 2 days late, so he's.
Oh, come on. Oh, my gosh. All right. Let's wrap it up before we insult each other anymore. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming on. Judd, thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks for having me. We're in the final.
Indeed.
Yes, no worries.
Cool. And Amanda.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for asking me.
No problem. That's been a good Ramble on Arsenal Fan TV podcast. FA Cup semi-final review. Thank you and goodbye.
Happy Arsenal.